What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of No Client Agent Privilege, aka No Cap Podcast. It's your boy Evan Lawfer. Your boy Will is back in the house, and we are back home into our regular studio set.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
Right?
well, I mean, I guess,
Fortunately,
that setup. I mean, Vegas is cool always, but like the setup was just like, that's a setup.
Yeah.
That's how you
It's
do
like
it.
we're
Right?
on ESPN, actually.
Yeah, literally. I mean, the
Something
headphones
like
got me for sure. Like
Yeah.
that was like talk show radio.
Yeah.
Like that was like, all right,
Uh-huh.
we're good. Yeah, I can do this more often. I mean, not that I guess we couldn't do that here, but like the setup itself is just like,
Just the
it was so
equipment,
pro.
yeah,
It was just so
right,
pro.
yeah,
It was as
yeah.
pro as pro can get.
Absolutely.
And VSL took care of us on that. So thank you guys to you guys over at VSL Properties. Really appreciate that setup. And I mean, even OGs, like, they were on it, using the same. I mean, we did the same. I mean, how much better of a podcast than they have? I mean, I'll be Udonis. You can be Matt Miller or Mike Miller.
Mike Miller?
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind at all.
That's what I'm saying. What's the difference, right?
Yeah, but, on the topic of basketball and all that good stuff, Team USA
And
just
we're
started
in
the Olympics.
Yep.
Big time. Every other sport's kind of on a break.
Yeah.
Except I guess baseball or...
Yeah, I was going to say baseball mid-season. Yeah, I got to get all theirs in.
Like NASCAR and F1 took breaks.
Yep.
Obviously, tennis is on a break. I'm sure.
Football just got started.
Right.
But, I mean,
there's a lot to talk about, though. Getting into some exciting times of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think with NBA with Team USA basketball, I think we're trying to seeing this dynamic of superstars and the KD going in and being the Slim Reaper that he's always truly been. But I mean, the way he scored, the efficiency, like.
Well, yeah, he had 23 points in 17 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, 8 for 8 field goals.
I watched most of the game and just the effortless.
It's just so simple.
Craft.
It's literally professionalism at its best. Like, that's how you're supposed to make your profession look.
Right.
That
and
easy.
He hasn't played. If you forget, he hasn't played since April.
Right, because they were bounced out.
Obviously behind the scenes work and all that stuff.
Of course. You gotta stay ready. Yeah,
but,
stay ready. So you're gonna have to get ready.
But that's just a prime example right there of what he can do. The showcase that he brings on a daily basis when it comes to the basketball court. He absolutely dominated and really helped USA kind of look like Team USA.
Agreed. The dominance of Team USA came to play.
Right, as everyone was talking about when they played South Sudan and when they played, I want to say it was Germany. Did they have an exhibition? Australia.
And they went down. They went down to Dubai or Abu Dhabi, and
because I know they played against Germany in FIBA or something like that.
Yeah, we lost.
Something happened. Like there was a loss. I know they were mentioning that, but just being able to go in there and take that win by a large margin.
No, the USA win total is, I mean, that is, if you don't win by 20, you don't win. You know what I'm saying? Like it's looked at like when if you don't win by 15 plus, it's looked at as like, why was this game so close? Like it, even though it might not have looked like it throughout the game, it's why is the score so close?
Right. And speaking of winning by 20. Jayson Tatum still doesn't play. I know obviously you're an agent, but what do you if you have a Jayson Tatum signed to your agency, what are you thinking if the coach doesn't play someone like a Jayson Tatum? Like what?
I mean, my whole thing is like it basketball, I believe, is the hardest to kind of be mad at somebody for not playing, because it's like, who is playing in front of them? You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't really get mad at Kerr for not playing him when look who's in front of them. Like that's my whole issue with it, because like obviously like Tatum, like we can go off the Brown situation, Jaylen Brown versus Tatum. Like, who do you really pick? Like to put on your team? After the finals, like I'm gonna go with Brown, but we went with Tatum, and is that Nike, or is that because he's New Balance or Adidas? Whatever it is, but even still, the thing is, when you look at the roster as a coach,
it's stacked.
I don't know. I can't blame Kerr. I can't be mad at Kerr. I can't. Like, as an agent, I'm like, go enjoy. Like enjoy France, enjoy Paris, like enjoy the Olympics. Like if you don't play, you don't play. It's less of a risk for me for you getting hurt. So I guess I have to be kind of happy.
On that note, though, what about we'll circle back to the Tatum, but on that note of injuries and go enjoy Paris, have fun. What about Embiid? I heard I didn't see it myself, but I did hear that he was kind of laboring a little bit.
Yeah,
and if you're Philly, you're looking at that and you're like, oh man,
Kawhi was another example. Like, look at Kawhi. They were like, the Clippers came out and were like, yo, you're done. You're not playing on Team USA. Like we're done. We're not taking the risk. But Joel will play through hurt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's where Philly kind of has a little bit different mindset towards Embiid playing versus Lakers or Clippers.
You don't want something worse to
happen,
of
course.
Though.
I mean, but that's on Embiid to tell Kerr, hey, Kerr, I'm not feeling too hot right now. Yeah. Or like, hey, Kerr, you want to put such and such in the front?
He didn't play too hot either.
Yeah, exactly. So
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe USA goes smaller.
Well, I guess I don't remember.
I have Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo.
I was say, 5. I don't really know what their seeding is with regards to who they've got left to win it.
I don't know. They only had the one game,
right?
So far,
and that was just to get them. That's just through the pool, right? We're not even into bracket
groups,
play. It's still group stages. Yeah. So really, until we see who we've got on the road to gold, you just let Embiid play until you kind of like, hey, coach, tap me in, tap me out, let him come in, come out.
So, you gotta let Tatum play though.
Of course, I mean, one, you don't also want one of your best. I mean, everyone's one of their best players, but like you don't want somebody to get cold because he's not used to that role in general. So you want him to at least get comfortable before something happens in the game where, hey, Tatum, you haven't played in 2 games. Now you can come. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what you don't want. It's not the matter of can he play. We all know he can play, but he's in a completely different role that his body is used to. Getting warmed up, shooting around, then sitting on the bench for the next 12, 15, 30 minutes because you're not in the rotation or you're third in rotation because of who you're playing now instead of second. That time goes boom, boom, boom.
You also
boom.
have more defensive-minded players, of course, dominant players like Drew Holiday and Derek White that are going to be able to give you those good hustle, scrappy minutes that Tatum doesn't really bring to the table.
Well, you don't even need them though.
Right.
From him.
That's what I'm saying. When you have all that scoring and all that firepower, you have your KDs and your LeBrons, and I mean whoever else. I think Drew Holiday had 15 points.
Right.
And there's just not really a need. If you need that defense, if you want to secure, you win the game primarily through defense.
With FIBA rules, it makes it a little bit easier on the guys guarding.
Yeah.
Not NBA where hey, that's a foul. It's a little bit.
And that's
lenient.
Nice. It's refreshing.
Right. I mean, you can definitely tell some of the boys like it. Yeah. Like that, the Drew Holidays that are usually getting 5, 6 fouls, like. They're enjoying this.
Even the Lou Dort's team.
Yeah, exactly. A perfect example. So, and that's where for me with the Tatum situation and Embiid, like as Embiid's agent, I'm like, yo, just go sit down. Right. Like, I'm like, oh God, just like I don't even want to think about it at this point. Like I don't want to put it on my mind. Like just again, enjoy Paris. Like. Can't play, tell Coach Kerr. Coach Kerr knows how to handle it. He knows how to change his rotations. Like he's that good of a coach. He'll make it work.
I think it'll happen. I mean, you even have looking at the roster and all that. Devin Booker. I never really was too high on Devin Booker. My bad, still not. But I look at him and Tatum as similar. I think Tatum does more, especially when it comes to the stat sheet, than Booker. Why not split their minutes up or play Tatum and sit Devin Booker?
Because they're trying to play everybody traditional at their positions. Like they're not trying to mess around with regard. Like because you see in the Celtics, like Tatum brought the ball up plenty of times. It's not that big of a deal, but it's the fact of the reality is everybody was brought in for a specific reason. So that's really where Coach Kerr's probably, hey, we've got 4 point guards. Now we want LeBron to bring up the ball. Like I don't know if you watched a lot, but LeBron has he has truly been playing his 3-4 position, his small and power forward position. Right. Other than bringing the ball up a few times,
everybody can. I mean, I just saw Bam bring the ball
brought it
up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but Bam plays that for the Heat, so Steve Kerr lets him do it. So that's again.
LeBron with the Lakers too, though.
Exactly.
Maybe just not as much, because you gotta. it's a tough job.
No,
To be
agreed.
Steve Kerr right now, or Eric Spoelstra,
Agreed.
or anybody else on that coaching staff, talking, amongst themselves, amongst coaches, it's got to be.
I mean, that's a
difficult.
lot. That's got to be a lot a pride swallowing to go in on that. Because even not to Kerr's, like he's obviously a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
But it's more to the extent that there are other Hall of Fame coaches around, like Spoelstra and a couple other guys that are, in recognition of, hey, this is Steve Kerr's show. Coach, we're here to help you. We're here to make your life easier.
Right.
So, a lot of it is, you were brought in for a specific reason. Like a Derek White. Derek White was brought in for a specific reason. Energy, doesn't really need him to score, but we need him to come on the floor
Defense.
and all gas, no breaks. If he can help us score, if he can get some assists, if he gets a little hot like he has, we've seen him do. We've seen him get hot and get real hot.
Yeah.
So it's like, for him,
and that's perfect, a little spark plug.
Exactly, and that's when you get into tough situations or a game where you're not sure who to go with. At least you can plug in a guy like that and let him just go to work.
Absolutely.
You don't really need him to go score, but let him lock down. Hey, he's killing us right now. Go lock him down.
Absolutely.
Say they play Canada, and SGA goes for
Dylan
15
Brooks,
in the
Lou
first
Dort.
half, and he's just cooking D-Book. He's just cooking J. Rue.
Whoever.
Whoever it is, whoever he's got on him, and you throw in a longer, rangier guard defender, and all of a sudden maybe it throws off SGA a little bit. I mean, maybe he started missing a couple. I mean, it's things like that where, like I said, you're brought in for a specific reason. Play like it, and I think that's the biggest thing when you have as much talent as you have. Everybody can do what you can do.
Right.
Joel Embiid can shoot threes. It's like the only person I would say on the team that doesn't consistently shoot threes is probably Bam. On a floor. On a floor. Even AD shoots more threes than Bam. But again, I mean, in regards to your positional, everyone can do everything, and that's what benefits of playing on Team USA. Like, you have everybody that can play everything. So Derek White, do your job. Even LeBron, like LeBron is there to be LeBron. Like, if he can go do a hammer dunk, a tomahawk on a breakaway at 39 years old, great.
All the more power to him.
Do it, man. Like, nobody's gonna stop you. So
right.
For me, I look at Team USA and it's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because you never have to worry about who's on the court. You just have to worry about if they're going to show up for their job. And I think this team has really come. I think that Serbia game really showed that they're ready. They're ready to go. They're ready to lock this gold up for forever. So that'll be interesting to see how it goes. And then the Olympics as a whole, I think I always laugh because, like the guy who's the volleyball player that was the same McDonald's All-American class as LeBron and KD, that's now on the men's volleyball, and you watch his skill set compared to some of the other players or other volleyball players, like, he is just hanging in the air.
Yeah.
Like, there are a couple times where he's getting blocked, and those guys are already down on the ground, and he's still in the air tapping their ball. I mean, just crazy. You're just talking about different levels of skill, but it's also funny because the Olympics, when it was first invented, and really until Team USA basketball, the pro side of it, was always the Joe Schmoes. It was always your
just your Olympians.
Your Olympians. The guy that trained to be a track star, that trained to be a discus swimmer, whatever. There was no pro status to any of it. So it was just an Olympian. It was just an Olympian. So the cultural aspects of from the Greek days to now. I mean, obviously culture changes, but it just.
I wonder if people find the same importance to the Olympics, athletes and consumers combined, because on the consumer end, I don't really hear, I feel like every time the Olympics comes around, I hear less and less about it leading up to when it actually is here. Like, there's no advertisement as much as I feel like there used to be. Like, you knew that every 4 years or every 2 years or every 4 years, we'll talk about summer, it was summertime, Olympics were coming, people turned on the TV and would watch the Olympics. I don't know. I know times have changed and
I
all
was gonna
that.
say,
And
I
maybe
think
people just have different priorities when it comes to what the content that they want to consume. But I still think the Olympics is so important. I think that people are really missing out on that these days because they just think, oh, it's another set of sports at this point. But it's really not.
you know what I think it is in regards to you really had your highlighted sports every day. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
now you can sit there on your TV, and I think it's over exposure towards being able to watch
Mm-hmm.
6 different events in
Yeah.
a matter of
Well, I was
minutes.
gonna ask,
So
like, you think that there's too many?
I think there's too much.
You think
I think it's overexposure to that much going on.
I think there's too many sports that they
Yeah,
have.
well, not even too much sports. I think too much viewing because I think people are watching 7 different things at one time
Mhm.
trying to keep up. So it's like, oh yeah, I saw a glimpse of that. Oh yeah, I saw a glimpse of that. I saw a glimpse of that. When instead you could just do true, gold medalist events and stuff. Like some people will be like watching a relay on swimming, and then they'll be like, wait, he won. Why doesn't he get a gold? And then they realize that's actually just the group stages. So now I gotta wait 2 more weeks before they get to the gold. So it's like things like that. I don't want to, like I said, overexposure to like, not that we don't want to see how they got there, but like people want to watch the gold medal and gold, silver,
there
and
must
bronze.
be a market for the whole thing,
right?
Obviously, if they're showing the whole thing.
Agreed. And again, I think what you were hinting at is that one, also price ranges have gone dramatically up to promote, also depends on what country.
To attend also.
Yeah, to depending on what country too. Who is it that is doing the promotional side? Like, is it in America? Is it in South America? Is it in Africa? Is it in Asia, Europe? Wherever it may be, that country could only be promoting to those countries. Like, if NBC wasn't in it, who would be promoting it? So it's not like every TV is on, and
Absolutely.
again, and so that's where, like, I know who was like C-Spy or whatever, like mainly is in Europe, was all crying about the opening ceremony and everything. We're like, oh, we're not gonna show that, or like, okay, like you're the 4th largest TV company in the world. You can do whatever you want. Like,
yeah, right.
Like, who's gonna stop you? You know what I'm saying? Like, but again, the overexposure of every single match, every single relay, every single thing, because then, like I said, I think people start watching and are like, oh, that wasn't for the gold.
You think it would be better if they did maybe like more of a playthrough or a watch through where it's like, yeah, it's on NBC, whatever, but they show you just like on a red zone kind of.
Well, they do that
basis.
A little
like
bit, not necessarily the
tennis,
ESPN bottom
this is
line.
Swimming, this is water polo, this is diving. Like,
right.
We're just gonna show you.
Depending on
we're
what
not
kind
gonna show you them walking up to the board, but we're gonna show you them diving off the board, and then we're gonna switch it to water polo.
I was gonna say, so you can see NBC, you can see some of the smart TVs that are like partnered with the Olympics. They're trying to get into that where it's like, hey, you just want to watch the water polo team today because Flava Flav is sponsoring it. Like, all right, like here's your water polo channel, and these are the teams that are playing today.
That would be great.
Yeah,
but I love water polo.
But so you can find those playing. Oh, I only want to watch women's volleyball today. Like, okay,
you can do that.
You have some of those TVs.
That's good.
But it depends on your TV and stuff too. Like, it depends on what you've got. If you've only got a normal TV, if you got that smart TV, or you got the cable package to do it, that's where you start separating the cable package. So again, kind of the importance of the Olympics. Do I think it's gone down?
Yeah,
a little bit.
I think so.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is, I think, and this has kind of been the last decade or so, I would say in the last decade, the only thing people care about, and I think it does matter in the last 2 decades, I would say, it's all about who's got the most medals at the end. Like, in the winter, we never win the medal count. But in the summer,
I don't think so.
In the summer, you can bet your ass we're top 3.
Top 3, but I don't even know if we win the medal count in summer necessarily.
Not really.
Not every year.
Not every Olympics.
That's good though.
Right.
But you made a good point. These other countries, you can go to China and they have their basketball leagues and whatever.
Right.
Japan and not even just basketball though. What I'm saying is that these other countries actually still have those Olympians.
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
just.
Well,
But in America, the Team USA, it's really okay. We play like all year round. Usually, I play on a team or something.
Yeah.
The last Olympian that comes to mind, like from the USA, would be like Michael Phelps or something like that.
Of course.
Somebody that really just. It's the Olympics, and
Right.
that's really it.
That's where he got his
I'm
fame
sure,
from.
obviously, he did other stuff.
No, we had. I mean,
but,
like I said, we had some of the track guys too. That when we finally beat Jamaica and everything in the 4x1 and that like Team Gatlin and them, like they have their own podcast and everything now that tell their stories about the track community and everything. So it's like, yeah, we've had our Olympians, but I think again to the extent that the importance of it, I think it's hard to keep important for 4 years. I think that's where our society has gone. Like during those 4 years.
But it should be more important than
It should.
It's every 4 years.
That's what I'm saying. It should be more important. Like that's what I'm saying. It's dropped off from the important, but because during those 4 years, how much sports have happened versus back then, when that fourth year came around, you really don't get to see track guys run. You don't get to see swim. Like you can watch like 6-7 track events in those 4 years. The worlds, the pros. Oregon at the Nike complex, they have worlds every 2 years.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, it's like crazy because you didn't get to see them except 4 years.
Right.
Now you can see them. Even Euros has world or Europe has worlds. So it's
I'm sure if you want to follow along or whatever, there's a way to watch.
Yes, agreed.
But I think building that, I don't want to say important, but kind of getting that casual fan to be like, oh, you know what? I actually kind of want to watch track on a not a 4-year basis. I want to do it on like a yearly or monthly basis.
Well,
like I think that people should be more.
The track community would say to you the same thing. They like we want people to want to watch that more.
That's the thing, though. It's like people put the Olympics on and they're like, maybe I don't want to watch.
Yeah.
Track, which is why I said something like a red zone might be better to actually like get people interested because people's attention spans are obviously shorter now with TikTok and all that.
Oh yeah.
You show them the ending of a track race and they're like, wow, you know what? This was kind of interesting and exciting.
Right.
I want to see more of this.
No, agreed. I'm with you on that.
Like you said, with the every 4 years, it's 2 weeks. It comes and it goes, and then people kind of just go back to their lives. But there's so many other sports and there's so many passionate teams and fans out there that really should make the Olympics more important than it seems.
No, agreed. I mean, again, it's kind of one of those cultural differences that have just kind of come with the times, with the amount of exposure we have to it. Like again, like I said, I think it's overexposure that's killed the importance of it. It's like we have so much access to it now that people look at it as like, oh, I can go back and watch that. Oh, I don't have to go watch that event because I can just record it and go watch it later. So things like that. But even there's no cable and stuff like turning into the discrepancies and disputes of who's got this showing, who's got that showing, what TV program's doing this. Kind of like TNT and Amazon, like that kind of dispute. Like, what if that happens for Olympics? And then you're gonna only have it on Amazon. What if the average consumer does not want to go and do that? And that's where I'm kind of with the TNT and Amazon. I think that's like a perfect example. Like, I'm the normal consumer. I have TNT on my cable television. I don't have Amazon on my cable television. I don't want to go and download Amazon and have to create an account and blah 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 blah.
It's just a lot of extra steps.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where I think
cable was easy. You just plug the box in, you turn it on,
and that's where I believe a lot of it falls off with regards to the disputes and everything, like how we're transitioning to all this digital YouTube. Like, I think we were laughing about your grandpa, learning how to do YouTube and everything, but how long of a process did it, take? Like same with my dad, how to show him, hey, this is ours. Subscribe. You'll get notifications whenever we post, blah, 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 like things like that. Like, it is not something, I want to do. Like, obviously our generation finds that as normal.
Yeah.
Like that is a norm. Hey, I'm going to subscribe to this page. Hey, I want to listen to this podcast. Like, I have people that literally, like, I have kids on the weightlifting team. They only listen to music when they lift. And I'm like, what? Like, yeah, like Like, yeah, I listen to podcasts and stuff like that otherwise, and like watch movies but like I couldn't watch movies like when I was like in school or anything.
Yeah.
Like I barely had YouTube. Like, yeah, to have a bunch of different links just to get through the firewalls and stuff.
Right.
Like
100%.
So for me,
that's interesting. That I mean, I listen to music more frequently.
Same. But I'm just saying in general, like
I
the
see what you're saying,
exposure of changing concepts of what you're viewing, what you're watching, what you're doing.
The whole TNT Amazon thing, we could sit here and talk about just Amazon for a while.
Forever.
But the whole idea or the main issue is that TNT matched the offer.
I know.
And the NBA said, "Nah, you didn't." But they did, and
I know.
that's what I heard. That's what
that's what all the reports are saying. Yeah, but
obviously it didn't really happen like that.
But we'll never know the truth of it. Like we will legitimately never find out if the offer was actually matched.
The NBA wants to go in a different direction, regardless.
And they can say whatever they want.
Yeah,
and they can literally be like, I mean, even if say TNT comes out and shows an email of them like, hey, here's our offer. Told you it was the same. Amazon could just be like, what are you talking about? Our offer's over here with an extra $3 million on it or something that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not
thing about
matched.
It, right, is that I heard that TNT didn't have the money to match, and then they did.
Well, they said they didn't want. They said they didn't want to match.
Amazon can play that game all day.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, they don't care.
So much money, it doesn't matter. They want this very badly. Yeah. They want to become one of those premier streaming, whatever, and that's the way things are going. And on the NBA side, if I'm Adam Silver and I'm getting ready for expansion, and I want to start, I want showing more teams in the next TV, 2 years. Yeah, you're gonna want that money because who's paying? Obviously the NBA is paying something for these teams to actually start revenue. Existing.
It's all about revenue. So that's all that matters. Make sure our revenue stream is up.
Right, but that's on the other side of the coin. It's like Adam Silver knows, obviously, they all know that Vegas is going to bring in so much revenue for the league. Like, why couldn't they just stick to a TNT where the basketball community loves watching TNT because they know they stay to the end of the game and they get Ernie, Kenny, Shaq, and Charles. Like, people watch for that.
I know, but like, here's the second, the other side of the coin. It's not only that, they're willing to probably go to bat and buy them out of their contracts.
Amazon.
Yeah. If we really want Kenny,
I don't think they want to do that, though.
Yes, but they don't care.
I don't think Kenny, Shaq, Charles, and Ernie want to do that.
No, they don't want to do that. But I'm saying Amazon is trying to give a big FU to TNT and say, look, we could take your guys. Hey, this is the prom king being like, I can take any of you girls. I'm just choosing the prom queen. Like that's where my mindset is. Like Kenny, Shaq, like they bring their entirety of the show. The four of them brought an entire crowd that maybe not even like the teams that were playing. They might have not even liked the game that was on, but they would watch them just because.
Absolutely.
That's where it is with that. So, and again, I think Amazon can just go in if they really want and be like, hey, guys, we're going to go ahead and give you this much and we're going to buy you out of that contract. And they can do it. So really, if they do it, they do it. If not, whatever. Right. They'll find new reporters, new commentators, stuff like that. I don't know who beats them, but hey, good luck to Amazon on that. And
well, speaking of that, Amazon transitioning maybe to the football side because football season is starting. We got a game on Thursday, like you mentioned. Bears Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Hall of Fame game, right?
Hall of Fame game. Yeah, I think so.
Amazon. We saw the Thursday night games. Yep. We saw the whole debacle with Peacock and everything like that. But maybe more on the team side of things. Who are obviously seasons starting. That was your sport. I'm sure you're excited. What are you thinking this season in terms of one of the bigger stories, which would be the Cowboys? Not necessarily your favorite team, but why do you think that maybe the time is up for all that, and maybe they should let go of some pride?
Well, I was gonna say, I think there's a lot of, you're talking about a prideful organization.
Yeah,
and they're loyal, and we've seen that to the T, that they are very loyal to their guys. but how far does loyal carry you in the win column? That's the next question they need.
It's a business.
It's a
like
business.
you've mentioned.
You're
it is.
you're
I mean, it's
talking
true.
you're talking about Tua and Love just got paid. You're trying to say that Dak can take you farther than the two of them. Right? That's what the Cowboys are saying. So that means you got to pay.
They should be able to, though.
You got to pay more than them.
Every year they say Dak is top 10 or top 5, whatever.
But where are my wins? So like for me and this is my GM cap. Like if I'm a GM right now. I'm the Cowboys GM. I am looking at this roster that we have in front of me. Do I believe it can go into San Francisco and beat them?
Or even Green Bay again, like, because they got better.
Agreed. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Green Bay.
I'm just saying, if we beat everybody,
the
person in front of us is still the go-to. That is who I'm worried about towards the NFC Championship.
You don't think Detroit's going to be there this year?
No, I think Detroit still is missing certain pieces and certain aspects of the team that carried on just from being Detroit.
Right.
Like there are certain things, like the Eagles. I don't see them. I mean, the Cowboys should be lucky if they make the playoffs at this point.
Maybe if the Eagles win the division.
If the Eagles win the division, they will have
defensively, but
they will be, I'll say, 18-game season or 18-week season, 17 game. I'll give the Cowboys 10-7. You can cut this later and let me know what ends up. 10 and I'll say 10-7 for this season, and I don't think they'll win their division.
I want to see the schedule. I want to see who they play because I don't know.
Like I can give you 2 wins right now for the Commanders. You play them twice, I'll give you them twice.
Giants probably.
Giants twice. Okay, there's 4 wins.
They play the Browns, the Saints, the Ravens,
loss,
the Steelers,
loss,
the Lions,
loss,
the Niners,
loss,
the Eagles,
loss,
the Falcons,
loss.
The Bengals,
Bengals loss.
Yeah,
no, I'll say
the
loss.
Buccaneers
loss.
If you're saying
that's 7, that's 7 right there.
Buccaneers might be good this year.
I think the Bucs are going to be. I think the Bucs are going to win the South.
If Baker,
at this point.
Baker's again, then
so
maybe.
There you go, right there. There's 7 losses right there, just off of what you named.
Right.
That's just my mind. So
yeah,
that's 7 right there. So for me, they're not going to win their division. I think they're going to win one against Eagles, win one against one and one against Eagles. Mm-hmm. But I think the Eagles won't lose to the Giants at all, and I think they'll have a better overall record.
Or the Commanders, obviously.
Or the Commanders, but I also think they'll have a better overall record versus their team. So, my next point is, we're talking about Dak, getting worth being paid,
right?
But what about longevity? How long?
Well, that's what the main I like. For especially what you said, they might not even make the playoffs this year. Do you think the Cowboys' window is just closed?
Yeah, I mean,
they have one more season. I think.
I was gonna say I'll agree with you on that. I believe that if they don't go to the second round or to the divisional championship, that the Dak era in Dallas is done. Like it should be wrapped up. It should be moved on to Parsons, pay Parsons, whatever. Like that is what it is. Because at this point,
you're saying if they don't make it to a divisional round or the NFC championship, that
is a dead season, and we are done. I don't care if you make it to the I don't care if you make it to the wild card and lose. I don't care if you do not win a divisional playoff game. We are done because that is not what I've been paying. That is not what I'm going to pay you for. You know what I mean? Like, I am not going to pay you $200+ million with $160+ million guaranteed to take me to the playoffs every year and lose.
Yeah, it just seems every year with the Cowboys just so close but so far away.
It's been the Cowboys since.
Because they act like they're so close.
Well, it's because
you're
a billion-dollar industry where you're making billions every year.
It's like the Lakers of the NFL or something like that.
It's a show. It's a Showtime. It's Jerry World. It's
Jerry Jones.
It's it's the whole everything about it. It's like it's traditional. Like,
do you think he should give up maybe some of his oversight and maybe actually hire a real GM? Jerry Jones? Obviously, he has people to go to.
Well, I mean,
but do you think
his
that he
son
should say,
is making all the calls now, I believe, and it's
right?
I mean,
I heard about that.
I believe it's tough to
I
say
think
what's the best route. It's tough because they have had success. It's just been a while since they've had the greatest of success, which is a Super Bowl.
Right.
So it's very hard to say. Yes, I mean, my perspective on it with regards to having a GM is, you had two ways to do it. You had your ownership that was the GM, then you had the coach that was the GM, like a Belichick and stuff, and they both won championships. And then we've had also opportunities where you've had just a GM, like a Robbie, the guy for the Eagles.
Rosen something, right?
Yeah,
Rosen
having
something.
him where he was a true GM, and he built the team that he wanted.
Howie
Roseman.
Yeah,
When Howie built that team, he was the GM.
Right.
But he also took a lot of punches to the face.
I see what you're saying, though, because the Cowboys do everything right on the personnel side, but when it comes to the on-field product,
and they've gone through 3 coaches.
Right.
So how, I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with Dak as a quarterback with regards to what you look for. But when it comes crunch time, they have thin on receivers. Mm-hmm. They have a thin running back core.
Yeah.
Their offensive line is great.
Their defense is great.
Their defense is solid as it comes in the NFL. I mean, again, it's hard though because again, we talk NFL, we're talking about top tier. Anybody can beat anybody on any given Sunday.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
that is what the
especially
NFL had
in the
stood
playoffs,
for. Exactly.
Playoffs,
so it's like
one game.
That's it. So for the mindset to say, is a door closed or is the era closed? Is it hard to say? Yes. Can I say this could be the last year? Yeah. Could they go ahead and still pay Dak if they end up making it? I don't know. Do you? I mean, Tua and Love. What have Tua and Love truly done?
Didn't they get paid more because there was a new CBA or something? I could be wrong about that. I thought that there was something
not a new
where like
CBA.
the quarterbacks are getting paid more now because of something. Something that has to do with like the revenue that the NFL has gotten.
Kinda, it increased revenue, increases pay, so the salary cap.
I thought that's
up.
what happened.
It's not. There's nothing changed.
The salary cap went up.
The salary cap goes up every year because NFL is a profitable organization.
But these quarterbacks haven't been making this type of money, especially
of course. That's. I mean, look at edge rushers.
Tua and Jordan Love. Like, I'm not talking down on them because I'm not. I can't even throw the ball 50 yards probably, but like they got paid a lot of money.
Of course.
And like Jordan Love, like. I mean, he had the good playoffs run last season, but what did he do before that? Rodgers was there. He sat behind Aaron Rodgers. And then
that's called investing in your future.
Absolutely.
So that's what both of these.
Though? Like, he
because you got to remember, there's 2 things you need to remember with this. One, the amount of money being paid now, you might as well pay it now because it's going to cost you more at the end. But like for contracts, this contract is going to be nothing compared to whoever has to pay the next guy.
Oh, okay. I see
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like if you have a quarterback, say you have another quarterback and like say somebody else comes through and they win a championship. Mm-hmm. So Jordan Love and Tua, who I just bounced out for the last season, you just paid them this much. Right. I got a new contract coming up. Guess what I'm asking for?
67.
Yeah, you better recognize, boy.
So it's like maximizing return on investment,
right,
while also minimizing the amount that you spend
right now. Realize what you're going to have to spend in the future.
Net present value.
Yeah,
present value.
Yep.
And I guess that's probably what they do.
It
is. Honest, if they say if we win a championship, we expect to make this much in return, or if we have playoff games throughout the whole, we have home playoff games, we're going to make X amount of money.
Your salary cap should be able to as a league as soon as you have a good storyline to throw behind it.
How much do you think on a playoff game, NFL playoff game basis? A team makes in revenue just from one.
Oh, I mean,
you think it's like in the millions, or?
Well, yeah, you're talking hundreds of millions.
Is it off one playoff game?
Yeah, for sure. God bless.
Well, someone agreed. Yeah, I don't even know. The mic may or may not have gotten that, but
that was definitely pick upable for sure.
It's all right. Well,
that was pretty bad. So,
We can close out here.
I say, we'll just go off of this last love versus Tua. I mean, again, your revenue towards a playoff game is in the tens of millions for sure.
Right.
Like you're talking about, depending on what team you're. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have the Rams make it to the playoffs, and you're playing at the Rams' house.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. That's a huge stadium to fill.
Absolutely.
And it's going to sell out. And depending on who you play, if they travel well. So if you're the Rams and you play the Eagles, Eagles fans travel well.
Yes.
So you're talking.
Absolutely.
So you're talking about that stadium
Cowboys
is going
too,
to.
really.
Oh yeah, Jerry World. Imagine packing up Jerry World for a first home playoff game versus Detroit.
It's a lot of money.
Detroit travels
and the standing room tickets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So again.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the amount of money that's made per team per playoff is a big deal, and it's also non-accounted for revenue.
Right.
You're not projecting yourselves to be in the playoffs because you don't want to basically cook your books. Right. You don't want to put yourself into a position. Hey, we're Patrick Mahomes. That's the only team. Kansas City's probably the only team that can basically guarantee being at least up in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So. Other than that, you don't want to do that. You don't want to prepare yourself for a downfall. Your Jets. I guarantee the Jets' mindsets were to have a playoff run last year. I guarantee it.
Cook the books.
Cook the books, baby. We were ready. We were ready for the Aaron Rodgers A train.
They had the shirts.
We were ready to go, baby.
Yeah.
And
that's crazy.
That's crazy. That's what I'm saying.
But real quick, before we get out of here and everything,
about the storm. If you didn't hear the thunder already,
who do you think was more worth the money they got, Tua or Love? And you could talk based on the past, based on the future, or whatever. But.
I mean, if we're talking about what we've done, I think you have to give it to Jordan because of his playoff run. Mm-hmm. But I think if I'm looking at it towards what I've put around him and what I'm looking to do towards the future, I think I have to let Tua run with it because, I mean, Mike McDaniel he always makes me laugh when he's like, oh, when a team puts up 50, we'll just put up 60. We'll just score more.
Right.
Because he's not a defensive-minded coach and everything. But I just laugh because it's more like Jordan Love has a decent defense, so it probably could carry him in the NFC a little bit easier. Whereas, like, Tua will always have to go through Mahomes or, even a Burrow. Like, we've seen how Miami plays in cold weather games. It's not very pretty.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Unless they go and win the division and can win it out, I would
say, Jordan Love probably takes the cake when it comes to
worth the money.
Who was more worth it?
Yeah.
Miami still hasn't won a playoff game. I don't know how long.
Right.
And then you look at what Jordan Love did with a roster that was kind of in the stages of, I don't want to say rebuilding, but it's not like they were.
Well, they weren't prime for sure. They were solid across the board. Every position had a good player in it. Like, there were a couple positions that were a little weak, a little thin, but like, the running backs were good, the wide receivers were okay, the offensive line was good. A lot of it was more the fact that like they had a unit, like a unit that was willing to push each other. So I think that's a little bit harder. Like, so for Miami's defense, they have a lot to build. Like, I mean, Miami's defense has great secondary, but the front seven still have a lot to work on. I mean, Chubbs last year, I'm pretty sure he got hurt, so he went down. Mm-hmm. Linebackers have always kind of been a void for a while. I feel like we've had good backers come in and out and then get hurt, and so there's a lot of questions still to be asked on the Miami team.
Right.
But Tua, as funny as he is, when he came out to camp the other day and he was like, "Show me the money," like, you're dude. I hope you bring it this year, and I know his agent David can really attest to that because him doing well gives all of the next quarterbacks the advantage of, look what Tua did after he got paid. Watch what I can do when you pay me. And that should be Dak's mindset. Mm-hmm. Like, Tua and Love just got paid. I brought you to a divisional playoffs. They got bounced out first round. Hey, See that check that they just got?
I want
It's
that.
going way up.
Yeah.
It's going way up.
Price going up.
So that's my mindset, and that's why I was saying with Dak that should be his. I mean, obviously, goal is a Super Bowl, but Love and Tua have now set the precedence and the standard for quarterbacks that have 1-2 good playoff runs,
Right.
2 good seasons. What do I get once I beat them?
Right.
Once I've done better.
Right.
So that's where teams can start nitpicking. Oh well, they had this, they had that, they had this. Wins matter. You have those wins. They can't leverage you out of what you're asking for.
Can't argue with that.
So
can't argue with that. Well, we got a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, I think
so.
with the season right around the corner now. I mean, legitimately, a couple weeks out, 3-4 weeks out before week 0 in college football. Everybody's going to camp.
Plenty of stuff to
Thursday
start talking about.
night football. So I think it'll be interesting to see how the season carries. I mean, yes. I think if there's a season where we're not really sure who's going to win it. I mean, obviously, I think the favorite is still the Chiefs at this point. But with regards to overall expectations for the year, I don't know who comes after that. Like, who's going to be battling for those other positions, like those 2nd and 3rd and 4th place with regards to, Cincinnati. They're still, Joe's got to come back. Steelers got Russell. The NFC is just a toss-up, but after the 49ers, like, it could be something crazy. Like, if there's a year for a great storyline or a great underdog story, could be this one. Because we really don't know where we're going to sit in about 6 months from now. Who's coming around New Year's in that, that playoff spot. It's going to be crazy to see. Yeah, it's going to be a great season. I think with regards to college as well, like all the conference changes,
Big 10, ACC, SEC,
I think it's going to be
it's
going to be weird. It's going to be a little different. I think it'll be interesting to see how a lot of the NIL workings happen throughout this season with the ability to have promotions on the uniforms, on the coaches' headsets, on the field. You could earn, if you're smart as a college, you should be making the most money you've ever made this year. Like, you want to sell that corner of your field to the whatever company just to have them on Sundays or Saturdays. Hey, this is the year. This is the year to make that money. So for us here, we appreciate you guys. We're excited for this season. I mean, week 1 of preseason is here, baby. So we made it. We really, it was a fun ride, and football is finally here, and we appreciate you guys coming in. And for Will and I, we're excited to be along for this football season, for our first football season, to kind of recap every week, kind of where everyone sits, and have kind of an inside scoop for you guys as well. To hey, we know such and such. We saw this week, blah blah blah. Whatever we can do to kind of like give you guys an insight as well. It'll be a great time. So
absolutely,
thank you so much for joining. We'll see you guys next week.